Okay, that took me like the longest time ever to get my questions together. My name is Mayana and I am 19 years old. This is like my third time trying to start Booktube, so hopefully third time is the charm. I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag today. Okay, so the first question is, why did you start this channel? Okay, I started this channel because I really love books, and I started a bookstagram the other day, and I thought it was really fun. So I thought, okay, everyone who does bookstagram usually either does booktube or a blog, and I thought that it would be better for me to just start booktube. And like, I wanted to do either one, so I just chose booktube. What are some fun, unique things you can bring to booktube? Okay, so I feel like there aren't a lot of people of color or black girls in general in booktube. Yeah, there are a couple, but there aren't a lot. So I feel like I could bring more diversity to booktube. And yeah. What are you most excited for about this channel? I am most excited for talking about books and making friends. Yeah. Mostly, yeah, talking about books and making friends. Why do you love reading? Okay, so I feel like everyone always gives the same answer about how books just like take you into a different world and how you can just get lost in the books. And yes, that is very true. But for me, I don't have any friends, and so I guess the characters, like when I'm like, books are my friends, and the characters in the books that I love are like my friends. And like, when I was in 11th grade, I transferred to a new school and I didn't have any friends, and books were literally all that I had. So I mean, I was reading before then, but I think 11th grade is where I really started to read a lot. And because I was like lonely and I had nothing else better to do, so I was like really, really introduced to books, and I was just reading book after book after book. And it was just, books were there for me in a very, very tough time in my life, because 11th grade was a very tough year for me, including the fact that I didn't have friends, but other things also. What book or series got you into reading? Okay, so when I was younger, around the 5th grade, I always loved reading. My mom loved reading, and I would always see her reading. And so in 5th grade, there was this book series, and it was called A Candy Apple something. And it was like Goosebumps, because each story was a different character, a different, it was like it was like a anthology series. Yeah, it was an anthology series. And I remember the first book I read too. I wrote a report on the book, and that's just when I really, really got into reading. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I don't really have, like, I have a lot of booktubers that I watch, but I don't have any booktubers that I just like, fangirl over. Actually, that's a lie. Okay, my favorite booktuber is Brandon the Reader. I'm pretty sure that's his name. His YouTube name. I know, like, he's introduced me to a lot of psychological thriller books, and I just like, or thriller books in general, because I know he reads a lot of those, and I love watching his videos because he always like has new psychological thrillers. Okay, I would ask him what his favorites, like, what was the book that got him into psychological thrillers, because I know that he does a lot of psychological thriller books, and I just want to know, like, what book was the book for him that was like, okay, I really love psychological thrillers. What challenges do you think starting a YouTube channel will be hardest to overcome? Okay, so as I stated early in this video, I have tried to do booktube 3 times. Well, this is my 3rd time, and so I think I've tried to do YouTube videos in general like a million times, and my biggest issue is when I set a goal for views. I set a very, very high goal for a certain amount of views that I would like to get on my first video, and if I don't get it, then I get discouraged, and I don't want to like finish, but then I like really like recording YouTube videos. It's so fun to me, and like editing is so fun. But it's like when I don't get the amount of like views that I want, then I just get discouraged. And another thing is then I'll like delete it, you know, like I'll get discouraged and I'll just delete it, and I'll be like, okay, whatever, forget it, you know. When did you start reading? Okay, so I don't know if any other schools do this, or this is just like a Michigan thing, you know. I live in Michigan, but we always had like deer time, like reading time. But I started reading when I was in the 2nd grade. We had this thing, it was like a paper, and you had to read like every day of the month. I think they still do it because my brother does it, and he's like 9. And so they have like, you have to read every day of the month a book, and then like at the end of the month, if you read every day, then you'll get like a prize. And I remember like me and my dad, we read, and I got the prize was to go to Pizza Hut. It was very, very amazing. I remember that was like one of my best memories. I was in the 2nd grade, and I remember every book that I read, well, not every book, but almost every book. My favorite book to read was Green Eggs and Ham. I used to have like a box full of Dr. Seuss books. Where do you read? I read everywhere. Surprisingly, it's actually very, very hard for me to read in my bed, and I do not know why. Like, I've been in the biggest reading slump. I was in a reading slump from October to January, and then January I read like 2 books. I stopped, and then now I'm back to reading again. I don't know, like reading in my bed is so hard for me, but like when I'm other places, like I'll read like that, like read, like I can read anywhere. I can read like on the stairs. I love reading at like tables, like dining room tables and stuff. I don't know why, but it's just easier for me. And the last question is, what kind of books do you like to read? I like to read books about witches. I'm obsessed with witches. I am in love with witches. I've been obsessed with witches ever since I was a little girl. I like not even just witches, but like horror books in general. I'm a very, very big horror fan. I love horror movies. I like to read all kinds of books. I like to read romance. So like I like to read like John Green, like Jenny Han kind of love stories, you know. I like to read psychological thrillers. I like to read anything. I'll read. I'm trying to get into fantasy now because I've never read fantasy before, so that's something I would really like to get into. So I read everything, you know. But I'm really starting to go away from romance. Like, I like stories like with other elements in it, but also romance. Like, you know, like it has other elements other than romance being the biggest point of the story. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you'll be seeing more videos from me, because I really love books, and I love filming, and I love editing as of now. So hopefully you'll be seeing more from me. Thank you for watching my video.